So we want to move on now to look at some of your pet projects or pet issues that you feel very strongly about. One, for example, the development of Jamaica's human resource development, and also gender issues and how they relate to the future.
Yeah, well, in a way they're connected. Not in a way, they're definitely connected. Because if we're talking about human resource, we're talking about the male resource as well as the female resource. And we want to be sure that we are tapping the potential that exists in both sexes. We have seen over the last 30 odd years movement where the girls have become much more involved in academic achievement, in qualifying for university, in going to university, whereas the boys have tended, although boys are still achieving well, the numbers have not been as great, and the boys have been looking at alternative ways of achieving what they want and seeing their way to wealth, prosperity, success, however that is defined, through non-traditional routes such as music, such as sport, also such as drugs and guns and crime. But the point is that I think that we have a very, very strong human resource. When I say that, I think our potential is limitless. We are a creative people, we're an innovative people. We just have to look at the ways in which people commit crimes to know that we are very creative. How can we tap that and make it useful in a country which badly needs to harness the resource that we have and make it productive for the future of the nation? I think one of the things that's missing, and I find it so difficult to say this because we have so many people who are so qualified, is that there is no human resource development plan for the nation. Right now, we speak of the logistics hub, we're speaking of all sorts of different developments which Jamaica can go into. I feel that we definitely need a human resource development plan for the nation. I think that the whole business of how do we educate our children, what do we educate them for, what are the examinations they're taking, do the examinations test what we want them to test, given what our national development needs are. When a young person comes to me and says to me, I'm not sure of a career, what can I do? I have no idea. I have ideas, but I have no basis, no statistical basis, no projections, nothing that says to me, well, you know, you're in third form now. In another 6 years, 7 years, the government is going to need more accountants. We're going to need people who have IT skills in a particular area. We're going to need people who are going to do surveying. You have no basis other than the old thing with Dr. Lawyer and Yaji. Because there is nothing to guide someone who wants to do that sort of career counseling to inform children. And you can't tell children, no, what do you like? Do what you like. Because what you like may not be something that is practical in today's world. And in a globalized world, you have to know, link what you like with what is feasible and practical if you're going to survive. Because there are so many more people in the world, and those many more people are looking for the few opportunities that exist for employment, for entrepreneurship. Anything you're going to do, you're going to have to find a niche which has not been met and be able to provide a service or a good or something which people will want. And until we get our young people to understand that and to realize that they have to gear their education that way, but we must provide the infrastructure for them to be able to do that and the counseling for them to be able to do that. And without a plan, without projections, without understanding through a JMA, through a JEA, through a JAMPRO, through all of those, and coordinating all these with the school system to say, well, this is where we need to go. We're lost. We're producing 20,000 teachers when we don't need them. Where are they going? Okay, so they may be migrating. So we may be producing people for export. But let that be a deliberate move and not something that happens by default. You know? And that way, we know that we must also produce people of excellence for ourselves in the areas where we want. So we don't have to complain that they have to bring Chinese people here to fill jobs which we are not qualified to fill, because we have produced excess in terms of that area, but insufficient in terms of another area. We need to have a more coordinated set of plans for our students and our young people. That is a big thing, isn't it?
How does the gender development of the gender issues fit into that?
I think that it's important because I think young women now I find women are often more practical than men, but I think young women are asking themselves those sorts of questions. If I'm going to university, what am I going to do so that I can get a job afterwards, or so that I know what I'm going to do afterwards? I spoke to a young woman the other day who's going into law, and I said to her, so we have a lot of lawyers, we're producing hundreds of lawyers. She says, oh, but I'm only doing law as a route to go into fashion. So I said, law and fashion. Oh. She says, look, fashion is going to be a big thing for a long time, but I want to be able to have the legal background which enables me to do fashion from that perspective, so that I know when I have a designer, how I write the contracts, how I organize what's going to be done, what is the patent, how the person can register their designs. I can provide a service to the fashion industry, which isn't just designing and putting on a dress, but is part of an industry which is growing and which is bad. And so I think that's a young woman who's thinking along those lines. And I think that if we can encourage, and I don't just want to say encourage women, I think that we have gotten to the stage where all young women are thinking and are looking towards their future, not just in terms of marriage and family, although that is important, but also in terms of their profession. They're thinking along those lines. But also young men, not to just drift into an area where they are not able to satisfy a need and therefore find themselves feeling frustrated and not able to measure up to what is expected of them by society, because society still is patriarchal and still expects the men to shoulder responsibility for all sorts of things. And so when the men feel that they are falling short, they become frustrated. And we get all sorts of spin-offs, the domestic violence, all the various other things that come with unstable family life. And that, of course, is necessary for us to have a stable country, and a country which has morals and values.
Well, so you've demonstrated that you're a true visionary in many ways, and of course a leader. And we see that because you have been a trailblazer. You are on our board in the hall. Many of our students probably look at those names and don't know who these people are, and you're there as the first female principal at the University of the West Indies. So we thank you for that. And we must say that we are delighted to find out via the internet, I must tell you, that you now have a new hall on the UWI campus called the Elsa Leo-Rhynie Towers, which I was thrilled to see, and we must congratulate you on that latest achievement. So you're now...
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I have no brick and mortar.